Oh, thank you, Rachel. I was gonna say that when you but okay. So good evening. My name is Selena Lazarus. I am one of the family engagement facilitators in the district. I am over a middle school. Tonight we will have information on CTE brought to you by Akua Goodrich. She is the director of registration, and Wendy Ruiz will also be working and presenting for PTEC. And we also have Rachel Fleming, who is the woman behind the scenes. So thank you. Just a few housekeeping rules. We're gonna ask that you please wait to drop questions in the chat. You can, if you wish, drop them in the question and answer because that's a little bit easier. When they go into the chat, it gets lost. So if you want to if you have a question, drop it in the question and answer feature. We ask that you please remain on mute, and then we'll open it up at the end to ask questions. So, Director Goodrich, it's all yours. You're on mute.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Once again, we're so excited. Can't believe it's this time of year. I get so excited at this time. My name is Akua Goodrich. I'm the Director of Student Registration for Syracuse City Schools. I have the pleasure and honor of presenting along with Wendy Ruiz, who is one of our PTEC coordinators. And Wendy, you want to just get started?
Yes, absolutely. Good evening to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm here representing the CTE team, but my focus really is mainly the PTEC programs that fall in the CTE programming as well. But if you have any other questions, we could answer those at the end. So right now I'm sharing my screen.
Okay, can we
Yep.
enlarge it a little bit? Okay,
Yes, there we go.
awesome. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So here's a quick agenda. We're going to go over high school choice and transfer program overview, high school choice and transfer, the registration process, our lottery process, our tentative timeline, some additional information we have that we believe will be helpful, and then we'll open it up for questions. Next slide, Lindsay. So just want to kind of give a description of what the high school choice and transfer program is. It's so super exciting. Like your child, you have an eighth grader and they will be transitioning to ninth grade in the fall. So we're just asking that you assist us in kind of gaining a better understanding of what their interests are by completing the high school choice and transfer application. This year it will be offered both paper format or online, but we ask, and I have to stress that we ask that you just complete one or the other because sometimes it gets confusing when you submit a paper application and then you say, okay, no, I'm going to submit an online application, and we kind of have to track it down to figure out which program you're actually interested in. If that does happen and you submit a paper application and an online or two paper, we always go with the document that's dated with the latest date. Okay, so the paper application will be mailed and the online application made available the week of November 17th. So that's like in just a few weeks, right? And application will be mailed with what we call our transition letter. So please look out for it. We will send you kind of be on the lookout on the 14th through Parent Square. But please be on the lookout for this packet. It has some great information in there. It talks about what the whole transition is about. It talks about what has the application in there. We'll have the booklet will be provided for you as well, and so that you can take the time over the Thanksgiving holiday to kind of really comb through the book with your eighth grader to see what they're interested in. It is important to note that we request that you complete the high school choice. Every child has to complete it, okay? Whether they are interested in a CTE program or not, because there is a space for you to say not interested, which means we will send your child just directly to their feeder school or to their home school, whichever is applicable. And I'll get into that on an upcoming slide. Next slide, please. Okay. Can you go? I think there's one before this. Was there a slide before this? So, yeah, next one. Slide 4. Thank you. So we're going to get into the homeschool assignments, high school transfers, high school choice, applying for a career and technical education program, a P-Tech program, which Wendy is a coordinator for, our biotechnology program, Naval National Defense and Cadets Corps, or NNDCC, formerly known as Navy JROTC, and then our IB program, International Baccalaureate. Next slide. Here's a slide that we like to take time to go through and explain. So when we say homeschool assignments, any student who does not complete a high school choice application or who is not selected in the lottery will be required to attend their feeder school, right? Or we have homeschool assignments through our transfer program. Now, per the Board of Education policy, if you enter the district, because I believe we have families here, also we have families who are not currently enrolled in the district, but who live in the city. And so we want to stress that when you enter the district, your child is assigned to their home school, okay? Their homeschool assignments are based on your current address. And this is the address that we have on file at the time we generate our 8th to 9th transition letters or at the time that you register, okay? Now, here's the tricky part. Students who reside in the West Quadrant, they do not have a home high school. Or if they attend Fraser or STEM at Blodgett, okay? You don't have a home high school. And so you are required to participate in the high school choice and transfer process by selecting 2 program options and 1 transfer option, okay? Corcoran, Henniger, or Nottingham. And our school counselors are well versed in this. We go over this just like we're going over with you tonight. We go over this with them. And they can really help you if your child attends Fraser, STEM, Grant, Elms, or Syracuse Latin. Okay, next slide. Our high school transfer option. So you must be eligible for a high school transfer to be entered. Okay. You must be eligible for a high school transfer to be entered into the transfer lottery. Is everyone able to see? Someone said they couldn't see. Okay. Into the transfer lottery. Here's a list of awesome. Here's a list of the transfer criteria for students entering high school. Okay. So homeschool and joint sibling is our highest priority. So that means a student resides in the same zone as the high school you're interested in, and you have another child or young person who lives in your home, right? Who resides in that same home with you, who currently attends the high school, and of course, who will remain enrolled in the high school the next year. So to simplify all that jargon, right? All the language, simply this. Do you have someone currently who attends Nottingham? You want your 8th grader to go to Nottingham. Do you have a child or a sibling or someone who lives in the home, right, who currently attends Nottingham, who will not be graduating this year? Okay, because we have some people who apply and they're like, well, my child is a senior. No, the child must be in that school next year in order for it to be considered a homeschool and joint sibling. So that's the same for joint sibling only. The child will remain in the school next school year. Or for homeschool only, the student resides in the same zone, in the same area, in the same neighborhood as the high school. But then we have West Quadrant transfers, and that's what I just talked about in the previous slide, where students who attend Fraser and STEM at Blodgett or who attend Elms, Grant, or Syracuse Latin and live in the West Quadrant because remember, there's no home high school for them. They are eligible for a transfer, whether there's a sibling there or not, whether it's their home school or not. We want to give them the option and the opportunity to transfer. Quick note before Wendy moves on to the next slide. High school choice and transfer submissions are optional for most students and are based on eligibility into the school of choice. Selecting this option does not guarantee placement. If your child is not selected for enrollment through the transfer or choice process, the Department of Student Registration reserves the right to ensure that your child is assigned to their feeder high school or homeschool as applicable, because every student must be assigned to a school for the upcoming year. Next slide. So each student is eligible to select a maximum of 2 high school choice options and 1 high school transfer option. If the student, of course, meets the transfer eligibility we just reviewed and outlined on the previous page. Your turn, Wendy.
Hi, everybody. So these are just a list of a lot of the CTE programs located at different high schools. So a couple weeks ago, we had someone from the CTE team go into all the middle schools and talk to every single 8th grader across the district about the different program choices they are. We gave them an opportunity to go through the website where they can really read into and dive into the specifics of each program. We talked about where these programs are located, because they're located across the 6 different high schools. And then last week, every 8th grader in the district got the opportunity to go to the SRC Arena, which at OCC, and it was a really big expo center where every single one of these programs were really showcased. There was a tabling, there was students, there was a lot of equipment and tools, and students, all 8th graders got an opportunity to meet the teachers, talk to the students who are in the program, usually 11th and 12th grade, and really learn about this program. It was a huge success, I thought. So a lot of the students have some type of exposure to it. Maybe they may not have decided which programs they're interested in, but maybe they have decided instead which programs they're not interested in, which I think is just as valuable. So these are our list of every single program listed in alphabetical order. The way these programs are built is students get exposure to them for all 4 years of high school. So I'm just going to click on the first one because it's in alphabetical order. Animation game design, students take a class in 9th grade, not just every other day, not just, depending on the schedule. They're exposed to this for all of 9th grade, not just one marking period, not just half the year, but the entire 9th grade. In 10th grade, they're also exposed to that, taking some of the skills and foundations that they learned in 9th grade. And when they're juniors and seniors, they're taking it for double time of what they took it in 9th and 10th grade, so they have more exposure to that as well. And this goes for every single program. They take it for all 4 years. During that time, they're really learning about the credentials in these courses. Some of them are earning certificates, such as CPR. Some of them are getting their OSHA 10. Some are getting exposed to college courses through this program. And a lot of them are giving them credentials. So at the end of their senior year, they get part of their high school graduation is they get this credential saying, I completed a career in technical education, a CTE program, which is huge for graduation. And oftentimes, and they get to keep these college credits, they get to keep these credentials. So for someone in a program such as cosmetology, students during that time, especially their senior year, are earning hours to go towards their certification and receiving the New York State license. So these are all CTE programs. P-TECH programs fall under the umbrella, but they're a little bit different. These are programs funded by New York State. And it's a partnership between a community college and an industry. And students have, from the beginning of the P-TECH program when they enter in as ninth graders, they have 6 years total, or 2 years after high school graduation, to earn their associate's degree free of cost to the students and their families. So there's a total of 8 different programs. This is actually missing one of them. One that's not listed is a computer chip and technology program. So all of these have been created so students start earning college credit in 10th grade. And then when they're juniors and seniors, they're going up to OCC their junior and senior year and taking a college credit in the fall, another one in the spring, twice a week. And when they're seniors, the goal is for students to be up at OCC taking college credit, 2 classes in the fall and 2 classes in the spring. So the program is designed that by the time they're done with their senior year, students have earned 24 college credits while in high school without a cost to the students and their families. Some students choose to go on to a different college pathway, which is totally okay. And they can, sometimes those college classes can transfer over. Other students have chosen to continue in the pathway. And even though they're walked across the stage at high school for senior graduation, they have up to 2 years to complete the rest of the courses, and students will still fall under the P-TECH grant, and the courses will still be paid for up to 2 years after, so they can earn their entire associate's degree for free, books included. Other options that are not a CTE credential, nor are they a P-TECH program, but I think they have other valuable insight to it, is the biotechnology program. During this program, students are learning about different types of technology and biology and how they work in different areas of fields such as forensics. And in that program, they also get to take college credit courses as well. The second bulleted program is formerly the Navy ROTC. I think it has a lot of lifelong skills that students can take to the workforce, to a four-year college, and this could lead to other things they want to do after graduation. And something that's unique is an International Baccalaureate, or IB credential. This is only located at one school at Corcoran. And this is a kind of like a curriculum that's not just known in the US, but internationally known, where students take a certain types of classes. And at the end of the 4 years, they get like an IB certificate, which is an international, almost like an international high school diploma. But all of these programs, whether it's CTE, P-TECH, or any of these non-CTE programs, are designed to be worked over the 4 years from 9th grade through 12th grade. And it prepares students for either continuing on to go to a 2-year, a 4-year higher ed after high school, or it prepares them to join the workforce.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So just to kind of review, so that you know when you receive it, the high school choice and transfer application, there's information that's required. And so we want to make sure that you please print so that we can, so that the school counselor can read it, and I'll explain the process of how we receive it and how we document your options in a moment. But student first and last name, student ID. We usually pre-populate the form to include the transition letter to include the student ID, just in case you don't know what your child's student ID is. Student's date of birth, their current school, just in case it gets lost. Sometimes parents forget that it needs to go to the school and they're mailed directly to us, or they're mailed to the Office of Family Engagement, or sometimes parents will give it to a member of the Office of Family Engagement. And so just to ensure that it gets there, we want to have the correct information. CTE transfer or feeder pattern options, your signature, which gives consent for submission of the application, and then your email address and your current phone number, a valid phone number that we can use just in case the school counselor or someone has a question about what you've entered on the application. Next slide, please.
Akua, excuse me,
Yes.
Dr. Goodrich, would you like to answer some questions now, or would you rather wait until the end?
Can we wait until the end? Because we're almost done.
Yes.
We're almost there. Thank you
Yep,
so much.
yep. So please just remember to put your questions in the question and answer feature so that we don't miss it in the chat, because it's very easy to miss in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. High school choice and transfer form, so submission and processing. So once you complete the high school choice and transfer application, again, it's going to be mailed directly to you. If you have moved and you have not notified your school, please notify them as soon as possible, because we will be pulling this data within a week, because it takes about a week to what we call clean the data, make sure everything is correct. And if it is not updated in the next few days, we won't have a correct address for you. So if you've moved, please bring that detail to your school along with the proof of address so that we have the correct information. You will be required to return this form to your child's middle school counselor, okay? Consent to allow the school counselor to submit the high school choice and transfer application on your behalf, okay, is right on the back of that form. So what happens is that about 2 years ago, we stopped doing what we call public facing, where the families had to submit the application themselves. We stopped doing that. And what we do, we want to help and support, because we understand some people may not have access to a computer, or sometimes your phone wouldn't allow you to submit, or some people are just not computer savvy. And we wanted to make sure that your child did not miss an opportunity to submit an application. So we said, hey, well, let's do something different. How about if we have them fill out the forms, sign the back, and then give them to the school counselor, okay? And then the school counselor is responsible for entering that data into what we call our Right Reason High School Choice and Transfer portal. Our middle school counselors will upload the application and the consent, will load the application in the form to submit to the notes sections of School Tool. So we keep documentation of those forms. Okay, when it comes in online, we have it right there online. But when it comes in on paper, the school counselor is responsible for uploading that detail to School Tool, so that if you ever, there's ever, a concern about maybe you didn't make a copy of your form, or take a picture of it, or maybe you forgot what you entered. We want to make sure we're able to track that information, okay? So that we can say, well, this is what we thought you wanted. Did you want something different? But that's as long as you can make, we want students to have the opportunity to apply to what they're interested in. So if there's a change, you let your counselor know. You have to submit an additional form, and then we document that change, okay? Parents or guardians may also give the school counselor permission to complete the application on their behalf. So you may say, oh my gosh, I made a mistake and threw out the form. And although we'll have the PDF available online for you to download, you may not be able to print it at the time, right? And so we want to make sure there's no reason that your student cannot submit. And so you just give your middle school counselor a call and say, I'd like to schedule an opportunity to discuss the high school choice with you. And they pull out one of the forms, and then they sign. There's a space for them to sign saying they completed it on your behalf. And then that document is uploaded. So there should be no reason that our eighth graders, I think there's like 1363, like 1,300 of them or something like that now. There's no reason that any of them should not be able to submit an application at all. Okay? Okay, high school. So again, accurate contact information, telephone number and email, please, your most up to date. It's critical to ensuring that we can connect with the students and families. Students who are not currently enrolled in SCSD must have a complete registration. So if you are on the call and you attend a charter school in the city, you live in the city, excuse me, and you live in the city and you attend a charter, a non-pub, or a private school. That school does not have to be in the city, but if you reside in the city and you attend one of those schools and you want to enroll, your child attends, excuse me, and you want to enroll your child into the district for the next school year, it is critical that you do not forget that when we open up our registration platform on February 1st, 2026, that's for open enrollment, okay? That you complete the registration process. So high school choice is an application process, but if you are not currently enrolled in the district, it's called a registration process. And so for our students who are currently enrolled, you only have to do the application. But if you are not currently enrolled in the district but live in the city, you have to do the application and the registration. And that opens February 1st. Okay. Our lottery process, and we get this question all the time. How do you guys do it? Do you pick up by hand? No, not at all. We wanted to make sure we had an effective, efficient, and fair process so that the students are, it's an automatic generated process. Okay. And if your child is deemed eligible, right, or recommended for enrollment in a specific program, then and there are more students that submit than we have seats available. So for example, so most of our programs only have 28 seats, right? And one of our programs, cosmetology, gets close upwards of 170, 190, 170 to 190 applications, right? We only have 28 seats. And so that means what? 130 or so students are going to be waitlisted. And we have a process for doing that. It's a randomized selection process. So all of the students who submitted, okay, an application, and it's not based on the date or time an application is submitted, as long as it's submitted within the time frame of November 17th and January 16th. Okay? As long as it's submitted within that time frame, they will be included in that lottery. Okay? And then the lottery generates, students on the back end, and then produces a report for us and said, here's here are the names of the students, excuse me, who were accepted in the lottery, and here are the students who were waitlisted. And that's how we get the waitlist number. Okay? Students who are entered into the lottery but not selected, this is another big question, will be assigned to the wait list and required to attend their feeder, high school, or homeschool, as described earlier. And then the Department of Student Registration, will contact the family when a seat becomes available in the program of interest. And I have to stop here for a minute. We love contacting families to say, hey, guess what? Your child's up next. I mean, my staff I love them. Like, they are so excited to be able to call, and they advocate. Is anybody up next? Has a wait list moved? Are there any changes? Because this parent keeps calling. We want to be able to contact you to say, hey, guess what? Your child's up next. We're not sitting here holding on to the wait list and saying, oh no, we're not going to, absolutely not. And we know how important this program is, high school choice is, to our district and to our community. And so I just wanted to stress that when a seat becomes available, if your child's on the wait list, just know, when a seat becomes available, we will contact you to let you know if they're placed on the wait list. Next slide. Our timeline. So just please be advised that this timeline is anticipated, right? Yet tentative and subject to change. But as of right now, high school choice and transfer applications will be mailed home the week of Monday, November 17th. Okay, our online link will go live on or before 11:59 p.m. on Monday, November 17th. And you'll be able, in the letter, it'll tell you where to find the link. We'll put the link in the letter, but we'll also tell you where you can find it right on the registration webpage. It'll also be on the CTE page. High school choice and transfer form acceptance will conclude on January 16th. Okay, 2026. Can you guys believe we're saying 2026 almost already? Lotteries will be conducted on or before March 27th, 2026, if applicable. There are some programs that students apply for that we may only get 27 applicants for. And of course, if we do not, if the capacity is 28 and we only receive 27 applications for first choice, or first and second choice, there's no need to conduct a lottery. Those 27 students would make it in, and then we would have one seat available, that we offer, to students who are sometimes students who are waitlisted, but the program is similar, or to the students who are entering the district. High school choice and transfer placement and acceptance letters will be mailed to families on or before April 30th. So this timeline is almost 45 days earlier than last year. We did a really great job. The counselors were phenomenal. Parents were great. Counselors were phenomenal. CTE team, CRC, and we got it done in a record time. And so we're believing this year to produce that information even earlier, okay? And just note that we listen to our families. So this timeline was created with families in mind. And again, it is subject to change. It could be by a date, it could be by a few weeks. It all is contingent upon data, how the data comes in. But we will ensure that all dates and updates are shared on our websites. Yes, you, Wendy.
And speaking of,
Sorry. No, go ahead.
website, this right here, if you just go to scSD.com/CTE, it will show you the links for every CTE and PTEC program, the classes that students take in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. There's also a website that will lead to various videos that are focusing on each program, and PowerPoint presentations to do with the CTE and the PTEC programs. If students would like, students and or their families would like more information and making the decision as to which type of pathway they would like to choose.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And the next is one more slide, I think.
One more slide? Okay.
And then here's just the Syracuse City School District, our webpage on syracusecityschools.com/registration. Once again, we update it continually just so that you are well informed.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the chat because there was some questions in the chat and I don't want to miss those. So the first one, Director Goodrich, is can SCSD choose two options, ITC and PSLA, as secondary option?
Let me see so you have two choices. So you can choose ITC as the first option and then PSLA as the second. So I want to say yes, but I'm not sure if you were saying, can you choose two ITC and then PSLA? But you can choose two options, CTE options, that's it. So if ITC is your first, you would choose that and then choose a program at PSLA as your second.
Okay, thank you. So just a reminder, please put your questions in the question and answer feature. It becomes difficult trying to scroll through the chat. So I don't want to I do not want to miss anyone. So I'm gonna go down, Director Goodrich, hold on. It's not allowing me to. Okay, if we have a child already in high school, can my child automatically be accepted to that high school next year?
So if your child is already enrolled in a CTE, like say if they're a ninth grader and they're enrolled in a CTE program, they remain there. Um, if you are seeking to apply for a transfer and your child is currently in a high school, you will have to wait until the transfer period opens on February 1st for other students. On November 17th, it's specific to eighth graders only.
Okay, if my child applies for CTE, for a CTE program or STEAM, can they still go to their home school if they decide before school starts?
Absolutely. But we would like to be notified like in advance as much as possible. It does happen over the summer that students change their mind. I mean, they're eighth graders, right? And so we want them to go where they believe they're going to be successful. And so but you would just have to notify us and just say that you're declining the seat, and that your child would like to attend their feeder school or their home school.
Okay. If my child lives in the SCSD district but currently not enrolled, should I register her before putting in the application for high school choice on November 17th?
You're not able to. So you can put the high school choice application in right online. If you are not currently enrolled, the only way to do that is to do it online. And so when you go to registration, SyracusCitySchools.com/registration, and we have our high school choice tab, you would click there and you scroll down and it says, I think that there's an FAQ for students who reside in the city of Syracuse but are not currently enrolled. And there's like 5 frequently asked questions that we list for you there. But
Okay.
yeah, you want to go ahead and submit that online.
All
And
right,
then
so then there was just a comment that if the status, regardless of what the status is, that people should be called and informed about their status. What happens if your child does not get into one of their selected programs and they do not have a feeder school?
Mhm. So if they do not have a feeder school, then we assign them to Corcoran, Henniger, or Nottingham. That's why I think I stated on like slide 3 or 4 for those students who don't have a feeder school or a home school, that it's important that you also select one of the comprehensive high schools, and we give you that as a transfer option.
Doesn't SCSD have some classes given in coordination with SU?
Um, yes, we have our super programs. And I think, Wendy, you want to speak to, much about what's offered? I'm
I
so
can
sorry, I
answer
don't know.
some questions regarding SUPA. I don't know a lot, but a lot of at the different high schools, there are different SUPA classes. So students are taking a college course taught by a high school instructor, and high school instructor has become familiar with the curriculum
Mhm.
as and talks to SU about making sure they're meeting all requirements so that students are earning the credit, and they get to keep the SU credit and college credit. And it doesn't necessarily lead to a degree through SU, but it is a good opportunity. There's many SUPA courses, so I don't know them all, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure if every high school has the same classes.
Thank you. Um, the parent is sharing her child's name and he currently goes to Brighton Middle School but wants to go to Fowler. How long is the wait list?
There are no wait lists for our existing because we don't launch, the application doesn't open until the 17th. And we won't have any wait lists until on the timeline. I think it's like, was it March that we're running the lottery or something like that? So there are no existing wait lists at this time, because we haven't even started the process. But we encourage him to apply to PSLA for sure.
Okay, so this other one, I'm gonna take because it's about a child being enrolled. And maybe we can talk about this, director. She stated that she enrolled her child 3 weeks ago, about a month ago, but they haven't received a call. So we'll take her name And we'll put our information in there and have her contact us to figure out what's happening with that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, are we able to visit high schools before deciding like STEAM, for instance?
Hmm. I'm not sure about visiting the high school. I know that, and Wendy, you can speak to this. We had the CTE fair recently, and
Yep.
so the students were able to visit. But I don't think we're doing parent visits of the STEAM
We
high school.
are. So
Are we?
Rachel,
Okay. Okay.
thank you. Right below that, she just shared the flyer that has open houses. So there's
Okay.
actually open houses occurring at all the 6 different high schools. Um, Not every aspect of the high school will be open necessarily, but since students are making a choice for a CTE or a PTEC or another program, those will be opened as well. So PSLA, ITC, Henniger, Nottingham, Corcoran, STEAM, they're all having open houses specifically for the CTE pathway. They're all on different dates, and it's in the flyer that Rachel just put in the chat. And they're all going to be from 4:30 to 6:30. I highly recommend that if any students are unsure about where they want to go, which cafe they want to choose, that they attend these open houses, as many as possible. Or if they want to become more familiar with the teachers, the curriculum, the classrooms, this is a really great opportunity. I plan on being there at most of the open houses for anyone who's interested. I know someone from the CTE team will always be at these open houses, and definitely the teachers.
Okay. But they would have to attend the open house. They can't just visit like on their own when they want to
Correct.
call and go. We
Correct.
get that every year, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like to go and visit
Correct.
first before I submit this application. They would have to attend an
Yeah.
open house, not a personal visit.
Okay.
Exactly. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, the open houses are available as an opportunity to do this. There's too much stuff going on with the students, classes, teachers, instruction, that it just wouldn't be going during the daytime. So that's why we open them up in the evening, specifically only on those dates. And each school has their own date. Thank you.
Thank
Okay. Hold on. This is why I ask people. So there was a question, how many credits do students need to apply for SU? That's not something that we would be able to answer. Um, if my child is entering 11th grade, can she apply for choice?
you. No.
No. Okay. My child goes to Roberts and attend the CTE fair, but only high school that offers anything close to law is Nottingham, but we live on the other side of town. Will more programs be created focused on law?
From my understanding, there's always programs being created, maybe not at the pace that we'd like them to, but there's over 40 different types of programs and opportunities for the students. Law enforcement is one of them, and I think that's a really awesome program. But for now, that is the closest to law that we have available.
Okay, and that question was answered about making a decision, so I'm gonna go to the question and answers features. I mean, the question and answer. I sent in this application for my son months ago before the school year started. Can he still be transferred? iPhone, if you want to come off of mute and ask that question, if you're still on the call.
Because I'm not sure, like transferred to,
I don't know,
uh,
it just says I sent this application for my son months ago, but before the school year started, can he still be transferred? Okay, so I'll go to the next one, Director
okay,
Goodrich.
thank you.
We live in the West Quadrant and my child attends Syracuse Latin. Does that mean that he could do both two choices for CTE, PTEC, as well as high school transfer without a specific program?
Yep, so two choice with CTE with the specific program for choice one and two, and then a transfer, correct?
Okay. Um, Also, is the IB program a high school choice program, or is it any way different from applying for other choices?
Um, Jenica, if you could just directly send me your email, I can get clarification answer on this one. But I believe the IB program is only located at Corcoran High School. So in order to get that, you'd have to be at Corcoran, if that makes sense.
Right. And
But I
it
can
is
get,
considered a choice though. So it is a choice option. I think that was what she was asking. It is a choice option, so you would apply. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna remain in the question and answer feature. I'm hoping that no one sent anything to the chat because I'm doing this one first. Is the I did that one. Hold on, sorry. My child is in seventh grade. We'll skip that one. Bridge program, if a student does not get picked for a lottery for a pathway, is it full when kids drop? Can a student use the bridge program to attend the program?
I'm not sure what the bridge program is.
Yeah,
Andy, is that a
Latoya,
program,
would you
something
like
that
to
I'm not familiar with?
yeah, I'm
Okay.
not. Latoya, would you like to come off mute and ask your question? Latoya?
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one. If I have a child already in Corcoran, can my child automatically be accepted with their sibling whom is already attending?
Everything is based on space availability, but siblings get priority in the lottery.
Okay,
So, yeah.
all right. Is anything first come, first serve? That's the question.
It's all about putting your application in, and it is not first come, first serve. Then that's why we do the randomized lottery, because we want to make sure that it is a fair process.
Okay, hold on. Rachel, Latoya's trying to unmute and she can't. Can we get her on off mute so she can ask her question and then we'll continue?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So what I was saying was because my son is picking a program, I know it's a lottery, and I was saying because what if that what he pick is full, but kids drop and he comes up.
Mm-hmm.
It's ninth grade, but he's moving into 10th grade or whatever. I talked to I want to say Mr. Davis, the superintendent, who was superintendent, and he was telling me about the bridge program they have in the summer, and that's for kids that say they didn't get into the program at ninth grade. He said they can, if they're picked from the waiting list, they can go into the program, and they use the bridge program to close in what they did not learn for ninth grade.
Oh, okay. I would definitely like to share that one. If you could you share that with ED Noto and SD Kelly, please?
definitely, because
Yeah, because we are building, I mean, we really want to fill our programs, and I believe that's what it sounds like he's talking about, but I don't want to go into that and share
I'm not,
anything.
yes, I'll
Not familiar
definitely,
with that.
Latoya, if you could send me your email too, I'll try to get clarification in terms of what you mean by the bridge program.
Because we do
Okay.
have a summer bridge, but that's
Yeah,
for eighth to ninth graders who are entering into the
those
program,
are for students who have been accepted into a
accepted
PTEC
into a
program.
program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Okay.
they're admitted to it.
they're admitted to it. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Mhm.
If a child isn't accepted into CTE, could they also apply for to P-TECH? Is it only one application per child or could we submit two?
And so you have two choices, and that's why the booklet is so important. And we send it during the time where there's a break so that you can really take the time to review. Even though we open up on the 17th, you probably won't get your packet until the end of the week or beginning of the following, depending on how the mail runs. And so that's the right before that Thanksgiving, the 3-day break. And so sit down, review it, and then select your first and your child's first and second options. And may I just stress that I know as parents, sometimes we want to, it's our responsibility to guide our children, right? And so I say that to guide them, right? But it's also important to listen to them when they say, Mom, I'm really not interested in that. and or dad, I'm not interested in that, or grandma, I'm not interested in that, or auntie, I really don't want to go. I'm really not interested in that program, but we as parents might be like, well, wait a minute, the whole family went there, the whole family went to Court Grade, the whole family went to Nottingham, ITC, your brother went to ITC and graduated last year. If your child, listen to them, please. I have three children that went through the district, and all three of them went through CTE programs, different programs, right? And so, and it's what they were interested in, and it made a difference because I was one of those parents in the beginning with our first child who went through P-TECH, graduated from P-TECH, the engineering program, and I was like, I'm not sure about it, but that's what he loved. He thrived in it, and it's what he wanted. And we listened to him. So I just encourage you to listen to the child. Now we're responsible for guiding, right? And say, well, I don't know, but please listen to them. Listen to them because they're successful in the program that is their interest, not ours.
Okay. If my child isn't selected during the lottery, then where would they go? We are on the west side.
Right. Great question. So if they're not selected in the lottery, then they would be assigned to either Corcoran, Henniger, or Nottingham. So you have the option of selecting a transfer, uh, um, circling that in on the application or on the online, selecting it. And if you're on the west side, you can select Corcoran, Henniger, or Nottingham. And it's all based on space availability. Now, if everybody selects Corcoran and we don't have any seats, then we have to contact you and say we don't have any seats at Corcoran at this time. Here's where we have seats available, but you would remain on the wait list for Corcoran.
Okay. What is the difference from electronic technology and electric trade?
I will do my very best to answer this question. When I think of electricians, it has to do with like electrical systems within like buildings and walls and circuits. Larger scale with that versus electrical technicians, they're mostly focused on the machines. They work often with mechanical technicians in machines. They might have to do with AC, DC circuits. I like to think of it as electrical trades are walls, electrical technicians are machines and the smaller parts of that, if that. I would also suggest, in case I didn't have the best answer for that, is to definitely go to scSD.com/CTE where you can look at more videos that are focused on electrical trades and electrical technology programs, because the videos will probably do a better job than I did, and you can definitely see the curriculum that would probably answer it more accurately.
Okay, we've already answered that about visiting the schools. Whom should we contact to ask about various options across high school?
Well, you want to definitely speak with your middle school counselor, because they have, and they will have the book and they're trained, and we go through a whole session like this with them before we launch. You can also send an email that and Wendy had the information up to the CTE team, and they're really, really good. And they love love our families and love speaking to them. And they would answer your question as well.
Thank you, Director. Can someone drop the link for high school choice registration again in the chat? Good evening. If my son is in 6th grade middle school, can I put in a transfer now? I would like him to go to Nottingham. I'm gonna let you answer that. He's in 6th grade, so not right now.
Yeah.
Correct, Director?
But yeah, not right now, but it's a good thing that you're on here and that you're thinking about it because those next 2 years are gonna fly by.
What's the best high school for wanting to be a vet?
I could try to answer that. If I had to suggest two different things, I'd say the natural resources program, because it exposes you to a lot of things, not necessarily animals, but the exposure to nature. But a potentially better choice would be one of the health P-TECH programs at Henniger, only because part of the curriculum has to do with anatomy and physiology, and that is just huge and important all the time when being a vet.
Okay. All right. My child currently attends Southside Academy Charter School. Will I have to register him February 1 with the district? And how does that affect the process? Because he's interested in STEAM, which closed January 17th, but registration isn't open until February 1.
Right. Great question. And listen, we look forward to your application. We want our babies back with us. Okay. And so please go online on November 17th. As I explained earlier, there's a difference. High school choice is an application. And so we're still going to push him through the process. Okay. But come February 1st, um, the registration opens, open enrollment, where you fill out the registration form, we get all your proof of address, ID and all of that. And that will help us to ensure that we'll able to put him in the lottery if there is a lottery necessary for the program that he's interested in at STEAM. And so there are two different processes. So move forward with November 17th. Don't miss that date. Okay. And then come February 1st, you will be requested. We'll even actually reach out to remind you, hey, we need you to submit a registration form so we can include him through the process.
You may not be able to answer this, but are there programs that are historically way over capacity in terms of application asking? Because if there is something that is super hard to get into, you mentioned cosmetology, they may want to also choose something less competitive as a backup. I'll put this in the chat. Oh, okay. So can you answer that, Akua?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Sorry.
barbering, cosmetology, media, barbering and cosmetology at PSLA, media, culinary arts, and automotive at ITC. Those are our 5 most highly requested programs every single year. But now that we have STEAM and the word is spreading, I am sure we probably will have that same issue, across the board, potentially with STEAM. But we have, I think, 9 or 10 great programs there. So just take a look at it. And we know everyone can't attend STEAM. We only have room for 150 students from Syracuse City Schools in the city, and then 100 students from our partnering district. So that's a great thing about STEAM is our children are learning with children who live in outside of the city, and they're coming together to learn, to grow together, and it's just a historical opportunity. So don't underestimate what STEAM can offer as well.
Okay, so there's another my child's choice or ITC because I have a child that just graduated from Fowler where I currently have a senior, but we just moved near OnTech, which is a third choice. So how will that work for him?
So OnTech, we don't have jurisdiction over the charter schools. So OnTech wouldn't. I think I understand what you're saying. That's your third choice. But of course, we wouldn't include that on any of our applications because it's a charter school that we don't have jurisdiction over. But I can encourage them to apply to ITC. If your child was still enrolled next year at ITC, we really do our best to try and keep. We can't make any promises, but try to keep siblings together in our CTE programs. We have a lot of families. And so sometimes even our families, people say, oh my gosh, I thought you were going to keep siblings together. Even our families are on wait lists because we just don't have enough seats for everyone. But I encourage them to apply to ITC,
Okay.
and PSLA.
Kay Smith, you said you have a question. Would you like to come off of mute if you're still on the call? Ms. Smith?
Yes. Hello?
Yep, go ahead, please.
I had a question. My son just started high school in Syracuse this fall. So I was trying to see, would it be a way for him to still be able to take advantage of these programs to get registered? Or
Yeah.
or
Ms. Smith, could you please put your telephone number well, no,
We
no.
can,
You you can look them
have
up.
her
Yeah,
email
we'll have a
us.
conversation. If you email, on the email you, because
Yep.
I would like to
Or
look this
you, do you
up
want,
to you.
do you want to
Yeah,
put your email,
I can put the email in there because
Rachel, can we type, Director Goodrich's email in the chat?
yes,
Thank you.
mhm.
Is there
You can put the
still
registration email, okay?
email? Okay. Ms. Smith, is that was your question? Okay, is there still engineering programs?
There's a couple of different programs that can lead to an within the scope of the engineering degree pathway. So for instance, at ITC, there's a mechanical technology and electrical technology program that can fall within that realm of engineering and could lead to a degree in engineering um, as well as Corcoran High School has a new P-Tech program called Computer Chip Technology and Production Program, which leads to an electromechanical technology associate's degree, and that's working closely with Micron and preparing students for jobs. And then I think it's STEAM High School also has a computer chip technology and production program there. And I don't know at ESLA, they also have a computer information systems program, which is a little stretch, but still within the field. And then PSLA also has a remotely piloted aircraft system, which I think falls within the realm of that, which is basically a fancy way of saying it's a drone program.
Yeah.
And there's also manufacturing and HVAC located at Corcoran. Like there are a lot of these programs that fall within the scope of engineering. So
Okay, and then there's one more. Sorry, they asked about but on November 17th, we can only apply for one program. Is that the correct directive,
No,
director?
no. Once we open up 11:59 p.m., we want you to complete the entire application, which will allow you to select two choices. We encourage everyone to select two choices. Sometimes families only select one, and then they don't have a chance for their for a second program. So we encourage you to select to choose two.
Okay, and then there's a couple more questions. Is there an interview process for any program or are they merit-based? Sorry to monopolize the question. It's okay. That's what we're here for.
That's right. Those are great questions. We have moved away from interviews, interview based program. Last year we did what's called an interest survey, and we kind of moved away from that. And then there was a second part. So it was about what about the interview, and then merit based. Not at this time, but we do want children to be successful. So in the P-Tech programs, and Wendy, you can help with this, they're kind of like accelerated, right? Some of them, like in the electrical and the mechanical and some of them
the P-Tech programs has also moved away from the interview process,
interview.
only just to make it more fair for all students and accessible.
Right. She was
So
just asking about merit based. So there it's not merit based, but we don't want your child to be we want them to be successful. And so you want to make sure they're good in, they can do well in math, they can do well in science. You don't want them, and we support our
correct.
children. If they have an interest in it, we're going to get them in there, right, Wendy? And we're going to support
Absolutely.
them. And because they may not be the math scholar, but we can help them get there. It's all about making sure that they have an interest in it, but we also don't want them to not be successful, because then they won't want to remain in the
Correct.
program.
And the data shows that students who are, in school doing something they want to do are more often gonna be attending school more often. So we definitely want to try to give them a program that they're interested in.
Um, this parent has one child in high school. My second child will be in high school next year. Will she go to the same high school as her sibling?
We ask that you please select the transfer option as well. and select the sibling option. It's the second priority, okay? Because it's all based on space availability. We do like to give siblings priority. But if your child's first or second CTE choice is not at the high school, right? Of course, then they wouldn't attend there. But if you select two and then you say, you know what, or if you don't want to select two and you say, I just want the transfer because I just want them to be that's where she wants to be or he wants to be or they want to be, excuse me. And then, you go ahead and submit the joint sibling transfer for them.
Okay. Will an email be sent with the enrollment is open November 17th? If not, can you please state the website address again?
Absolutely. So we're going to send on the 14th, so that Friday night, we're going to send you a parent square with a nice little flyer that says, hey, please be on the lookout. Don't forget, enrollment opens on, application cycle opens on, Monday, April 17th, 11:59 p.m. And your transition packet is on the way with the paper app. Look for it. So we will be sending that on the 14th, and then we're going to send you some reminders in December, and we're going to send another one in January because we know how it gets, and we don't want anyone to miss out.
In the group chat, I just put in the events flyer that shows the open houses for all the 6 high schools. They're on different dates in December, but they're all between 4:30 and 6:30.
Thank you.
And I'll put the website, so Ms. Lena, I'll put the website in.
Thank you, Director Goodrich. Are the internships at companies part of the CTE programs?
They could be. So the goal is to definitely give students experiences during their senior year, and then a junior year, such as job shadowing, and then senior year could lead to internships. Sometimes they're small internships, sometimes they're summer internships, depending on how well the student is doing towards meeting the graduation requirements. It could be these internships could occur more often. It just depends on the student, the situation, and the availability.
Okay. All right. There are no more questions in the question and answer feature, and there aren't any new questions in the chat. So with that being said, if there aren't any more questions, we would like to thank Director Goodrich as well as Wendy Ruiz for helping us tonight and answering questions and presenting. Someone asked if the chat will be, if this will be on our website, and it will. I know it takes a couple of days, correct, Rachel, before it's posted. Okay, one more question. Go ahead. Do you want to come off of mute?
Love it. Yeah.
Yes. Hi. Sorry. Thank you. The question is, say my child applies for 2 choice programs in, when we fill it out in November, they get their first choice, but by the time they're get that information, they've lost interest in that. If they decline that, what then happens?
If they decline their first choice and we don't have room available in their second choice and there's a wait list, then they would be added to the wait list. That's why we just really, and we know they're in 8th grade, right? And so we know things change. That's why we really ask that you take the time to really think long and hard about what the first and second choice is, because it is so difficult. Think about us trying to navigate almost 1,300 students, right? 8th graders transitioning and getting everyone to apply, and then we have all these changes. We just really want to make sure we can get the students in. Counselors can create schedules, and then of course we always keep that information. And if a seat becomes available somewhere else and there is no wait list, we would definitely contact you.
Okay. All right. If there aren't any more questions, if you know of anyone who wants to join, we are meeting again on Thursday, correct, Rachel, at 12 noon. For those, if you know anyone who missed it, or if you think of something afterwards, please join us. But again, thank you to everyone for joining us this evening.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Can you repeat again where I would go to see the transcript of the uh of tonight's meeting? You said in a couple of days it'll be online.
Yes, it will be on the district's website. Rachel, under
Oh,
family
okay.
engagement, am I correct?
You are correct.
Okay. Yeah, so if you go to the website and you go to departments, you'll click on family engagement and it will be there. I'm not sure right or left of the website, but it will be there. And you
All
can
right, thank you.
reach out to one of us
Okay,
if you have any questions.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. You have a good night as well. Thank you.
There was the one parent who wanted to
Um,
put the registration.
I
Put it in
think
here.
she might have dropped off.
Okay.
But we did put in a registrations email down.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So
And I just want to say
Oh,
a
that's
final
Kay
thank
Smith.
you to the Office of Engagement Services and Office of Family Engagement and Central Registration for hosting this tonight for CTE, PTEC, and most importantly, the students and their families.
Yes, and we
Thank
thank you for joining us. Thank you.
yes. Okay, so we'll see everyone on Thursday. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.